Good day. How are you? Amazing. Well, everybody, I am feeling quite amazing today. As usual, I always prepare lunch and dinner at the same time because I like to knock it off for the day and just have it ready. Today, as always, the lunch is always some type of pasta. I always switch it up. But for dinner tonight, I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this dish that my mom's friend used to make, and I'm just in the mood for it. So the first thing I do is I put my music on to the Mark Anthony station because I need to be in my Mark Anthony spirit of music. And of course, if I'm dancing in my kitchen and if my kid sees me and they don't dance with me, I'm gonna flip out. But about the recipe, sabor. So if you know me, you know I do everything myself. I like to create things myself with its own flavors. Sometimes, I'll buy a packet here and there or something boxed. But for the most likely, I'll just prepare it myself. So I like to make my own recadito. Now, most of you who know me won't get this twisted, but for the people that don't know me, I'm Russian, Polish, Bolivian who grew up in a Puerto Rican, Jamaican neighborhood. So my accent tends to, drift. It tends to drift. And then my culture definition or my linear structure, people tend to look like, what is that exactly? Well, long and behold, and just to break it down, I'm a queen, an Amazon queen, so we'll just go there. But my flavors are always unique. You can see me having matzo brie for breakfast, and then for lunch, arroz con gandules y pernil. It depends on how I'm feeling, right? So when I say a recipe, it could be anything, basically. Things that really touch my soul, make me feel good. And with Mark Anthony, can never go wrong with his voice. So I wanted to make this dish, and basically what you do is you take 4 plantains or plátanos that are not yellow yet. So it's not ready for maduro, but it's not quite tostón. It's like in between, right? And you grate it. So you really want it to be not so mushy and sweet, but again, it's not salty, but not so stiff. Once you get it like that, you need 4 of them, and you just grate it down. You add recadito, which if you don't prepare your own, basically you just buy it in the store. Goya makes it, or if you want to prepare your own, what I like to do is I like to have it ready. So I prepare mine this way. I take a green pepper, I take cilantro, I take oregano, salt, pepper, like black pepper, 1 bay leaf, garlic, onion, and I moiter it. After I moiter it and I feel the oils are in there, then I usually do a quick blend on what I already moitered. Because if you just blend it, you might get like a slushy. But if you take your time and apilon and you moiter it, what happens is the oils in the skin really provide an essence that you need. And sometimes, depending on how I feel, I might add a lemon or a lime, depending if it's, if I'm going for mojitos, or something like that. But anyway, so that's been in my fridge, and every week I make a new one so it doesn't sit for too long. And I only use a little scoop of this in the dish. So it's in like a bowl, grated, right? I add a tiny bit of milk, an egg, and all of you are gonna get so mad at me when I say this, and I don't care if you get mad at me, but I know you're gonna get mad at me. I use corn flour, like a little bit, just to get a little dry. Like think about when you make a meatball, right? Like that, making a meatball kind of thing. Now, once it's in that type of base, on the side, I have a pot. And I like to use the Musa pots. If you ever seen them, the IMUSA pots. They're like the best pots for rice or for things like that. But I use this pot, and I use a small size and or mid-size. And in this pot, I have like pork meat just cooking in there, sizzling in there that I chopped up. And then I take all the pork meat out and I put it to the side. And I have like all those bits in there. And I add, if you have chicken stock, just like a half a cup of chicken stock. And if you don't have chicken stock, you can always buy a chicken bouillon and put it in with a little bit of water, and it will do the same trick. Anywho, once that water, so now in this pot, I have the little bits and pieces from the pork that I pulled out, and I have the stock in there. So in this pot, there's about a cup of water, maybe a cup and a half, boiling rapidly. And one by one, and I forgot one step. And then I take flour and I take each, I want to say tostones, each plátano ball, and I dip it in flour, regular flour that's full of gluten, and I roll it in there. And that just kind of dries out the end, because what's going to happen, all those ingredients inside are going to marry. And once they drop in the pot and boil through, they'll float. When they float, and this is hard because a tostones sometimes won't float. Like you could try to cook it and make a stew, and it's hard for that to float, but it'll float. Once that floats to the top, make it drop. That's a delicious meal. Just kidding. Once it floats to the top, all of a sudden the aroma really comes through. Now, once that happens, I let it sit for a second, and then I add back in the pork meat. And it's so amazingly delicious. Now, I might have left out some ingredients and some things I do. I'm just trying to give you an overall picture of the aroma in my house right now, and the Mark Anthony music playing right now, and the palm trees swaying right now. This feeling of lush, I want to say tropical, like just this moment of break, a mental break. Sometimes you need a mental break. Maybe you're making meatloaf and you need a mental break. Maybe you're drawing a picture and you need a mental break. I always need a mental break. My mental breaks are always the same. I do what I gotta do, make sure everything's done. Once everything is done on my list, boom, I take a break. It's a reward. It's a mental break. Now, I said I was cooking lunch and dinner, and some of you may be like, well, that's a chore. What I like to do is I will never take on a task that's gonna make me feel that I need to do it. Now, sometimes there's things I gotta do. I'm like, oh, I gotta do it. But not when I cook. When I cook, I wanna enjoy it. I know the people that are gonna eat it will enjoy it. So I wanna feel love and happiness in that meal. So I enjoy that. It's just something I enjoy. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, I'm telling you all this because today's topic is taking a break. Sometimes we get so involved in our grinds that we are already a diamond. Like, we've been grinding for so hard. We are bright, shining like a diamond. But now we've overdone it. And now we are so bright and shining like a diamond, and now we're getting flawed. You need to step away. If you're working all day, you need to take a lunch break. You need to take a 15-minute and just break away from the norm, from the monotony. Because when you don't value you, nobody values you. When you value you, your price goes up. That's the thing. So I took this break yesterday. I said to my children, we're going to the pool at 3 o'clock, get ready. We went. Today, so now our pool in our community is summer hours, because it's basically summer. And I'm like, we're going to go. If I have a heart beating in my chest and we can go, we're going to go. Because they need a break. Now, our town right now, school's going to be over tomorrow. So all the kids are out. My kids still have 1 month to go. And, you know, they need mental breaks too. And sometimes you're thinking, well, I don't live near a pool, or I don't have nice weather. Your children deserve quality of life like you. So a mental break could be a walk to the park. Let them go on the slide. Oh my God, let them enjoy sunshine. Well, I don't have a park near me. Take your children for a walk down the neighborhood. Well, my neighborhood's unsafe. Well, if your neighborhood's unsafe, well, go to your roof and have what I like to call tar beach. Growing up, we always had tar beach. You go to the roof, you put out a little towel, and you enjoy what you have. Make the best or the most of what you can do. Maybe you can go on your roof. You can figure it out. There's always a way to escape the norm and take a break. Your break needs to involve you stepping out of your moment of where you are doing things. Now, let's say, for example, you're an entertainer, a singer, a dancer. That may be the life you've always wanted, your passion. Even you need to take a break. Your passions drive you, but they can also drive you crazy. So you need to always watch your mental health. And I say that, people are afraid to say that. It's taboo, but it's not for me. It is not taboo for me. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, My husband has to work. It's Friday. And he doesn't even know the half that I already have plans on what we're doing Saturday, because he needs a mental break too. And, and he needs a mental break from me also. You need that. You need healthiness. You need to understand that you can be in tip-top shape, the best in your life, the tightest abs, and still have a heart issue, still have stress, still have anxiety. And this is some of the things that I like to speak about. What are things that you really love? I have a friend that loves ice cream. And they love ice cream all the time. And they're so funny. When I see that they're having ice cream, I already know they had a hard day. That is and they're, let me tell you, they're not like overeating ice cream. That's their break. When they take a break, they have a little bit of ice cream and they're back to business. They know what soothes them. And I hate to say this, but what pacifies them. You cannot make your world so chaotic, so combustible, so lava-lined that you can't be graceful, that you can't have a moment. So I just told my children, listen here while they eat their lunch. And today on the menu, we had a rigatoni with mom's amazing cheese. Because I make a cheese sauce for my kids. My kid earlier today, just to segue, sent me a TikTok. Mom, try this TikTok with the cheesiest sauce. I was like, cheesier than mine? Don't you know I'm cheesy? I was born cheesy for cheesy. So I made it and they're all gobbling it up. Usually, this house is not so healthy around lunchtime. And is it healthy with protein and love? Sure is. Don't judge my house. I don't judge yours. I like my children to enjoy life. I like my children to feel the happiness. Do we have stress? Does it happen? Yes. And that's okay. Listen, if I was like, I'm perfect, what kind of world would I be living in? One time, my mom said to me, you want to be happy? I was like, oh, Mom, that'd be great if I was always happy. And she's like, that's terrible. To not cry, to not feel sad. And I looked at my mom like, I just want to be happy. But she made a point. All your emotions make you whole. Sometimes you need a good cry in the shower for no good reason. Maybe it's the 28th day of the month. I don't know, an airflow came through. Sometimes you need these things to happen for you to regurgitate and get rid of your poisons. Right? Sometimes God slams a door in your face, opens up another door and says, Mama, walk through there. What are you doing over here? And you just got to say, you know what? That's right. Vengeance is not mine, but being amazing is. And that's a fact of life. You need to always keep your hand to yourself and never show your cards. Always know your next move in any direction, but give yourself enough leverage to pivot when you need to. Let's do cliches. If I have all my eggs in one basket, if I think the grass is always greener, you gotta kind of be happy in your now. That's basically the bottom line here. It is. My son yesterday, they wanted to do like a Pokemon thing. And then we were walking around. We just walked the dogs and we just came back. And they were like, can we just... I'm like, let's do it. We're walking around. And it was a good walk. Sometimes you need to be walked. And I have a good friend who used to always walk me. And I love you always. Talking to you, you know who you are, Big Daddy. But, shout out for him. But, low-key, he knows his name is Paul. But... sometimes you need to walk and think. And my son says to me, it's the craziest thing, Mom, if I won the lottery, I would do this, this, and that. And then he went on and told me a story he heard about the lottery, of someone who won the lottery and what they did. And then he told me a joke. He was like, oh, this is a funny one. I was like, what? And he was like, one time a husband asked a wife, hey, if I won the lottery, what would you do? And the wife responded, well, I would take half of that money and dead you right there. And so then the husband was like, listen, I did win the lottery. I won $10. Here's $5. Good luck with your life. Stay in touch. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard. And then he looked at me and he said, Mom, if you won the lottery, what would you do? And I laughed and I said, didn't you hear? I already won the lottery. You don't know that? Truth be told, every time my hands itches, I buy a lottery ticket and I usually win $2, just FYI. But I already won the lottery, I said. The day, and guys, if you know me, you know I'm going to go in right now. I'm going in right now. Here we go. About to go full circle. Here we go. I was like, God, please help me. Help me understand my life. Help me out of my rut. When my mom died, when World Trade Center went down, when I was homeless in the street and I couldn't take another thing, I said, God, show me. God, help me. Open it. God, I accept you into my life. And what happened? Boom. Solid friendship. Solid love and affection. Now, me and my man, we married. I'm like, oh God, why can't we have a child? What's going on? Dang. We went for 6 years without a child, but we were doing things the wrong way. We weren't, a penny saved. We weren't being that way. And then all of a sudden we changed our ways and boom, 3 beautiful babies. I was like, God, the American dream is to be a house owner. Boom, boom, boom. Did it, done it, sold it. Right? Rebought it. About to sell it. It's not about money. It's not about these things. You win the lottery all the time and you don't even realize the slim chances of you doing something that you've already done, that other people want to do, that you're doing right now. You're a lottery winner. I said to my son, Papi, I already won the lottery. I got you and your brothers. I got your father. I got a solid friendships. Certain people in my life that always hold me down. I got amazing things going on in my world. Are you kidding me? Do you ever see me and your father out of grace? Do you ever see us in a moment where we're not going to make it and we make it? Come on now. I don't have the best health, but dang it, I wake up, I'm alive. I go to sleep with good breath in my lungs. I wake up and I'm alive. I'm amazingly happy. When I was a little girl, my mom did everything she could and so did my father. God rest both their souls. Sometimes I would go to have a bowl of cereal and there would be a roach in it. Straight up. And I would be like, Mom. And she would say, baby, there's no food. Pick that one out. Let me tell you something. As God is my witness, I will never let that happen to my children. And not that my mom was a bad mom. She was an amazing mother. But haven't you seen her product right here? Look how amazing I am. Give me God. Oh, yes, God. That's right. Because I got to love myself. I got to tap myself on my shoulder. Even if 15 people say, hey, Fannytasticlife, I like what you're wearing. Guess what? I liked it first when I put it on that morning. Because if I can't walk out my house proud of who I am, what I am, how I love and who I love, something's wrong. And guess what? These are all God's gifts. So I said to my son, baby, I already won the lottery. You didn't know? I have an amazing life. Every time someone says I can't do something, I enunciate the T and then I eliminate it. I can. And I do. And I take a break and I set a goal. I always tell you guys, I always like to set goals. Like, I'm going to do that and do that and do that. And when I do that, I'm going to get that and do this and do that. 4 steps ahead. Chess move, checkmate. Why? Because it's not about material. It's straight up about edification, bettering myself, learning who I am, knowing that I will not let myself stop myself, but doing everything I can to constantly work on myself internally, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. Sometimes people in my life get bitter and they get hurt. And I say, please digest that and use the bathroom and let that out. That's not for me. Because when you're with me, I give you all the love I have. If I don't see you for a while, from afar, You are in my life mentally all the time. I'm trolling you. I'm looking through your things. I'm wondering about you. How are you? And I don't want to be an intrusion on your pocket or in your soul or in your Instagram feed. So I allow it to breathe and to break. I take a break for you. Could you imagine my poor husband every day? Good morning, honey. You love me? What you want for breakfast? With some coffee? Blah, 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 blah. Every day he gets that. Every day. Every day. Sometimes he's like, dang, you still here? Dang, what you still? What you? And I laugh at that. Why? Because give it a moment that I don't call my husband. I don't talk to my husband. I walk away. I let him breathe. What's wrong with you? What happened, baby? You okay? You love me? Because I know me and my honey bunny. We could take a moment to breathe, but not too long, because we're like magnetic. Picture a potato cut in half. I swear to you, that's how I always say. But for the people in my lives, I feel that way too. When I tell someone I have love for them, it is eternal. It will always transcend through them, whether I'm with them or not. Because for me to love someone, I have to give away a piece of me. I have to let my guard down. I have this friend who's new to my world. And one day we're on the phone. And if they're listening, they'll know who they are. Because at the end of the conversation, I said, all right, I love you, bye. They said the same thing. I love you, bye. And we were like, okay, bye now. It was kind of funny because in the next moment, we were like, I said I love you because I meant it. And there was no need to explain because I felt the same way. There was a connection that was there. The moment was real. It was a real moment. And I know right now, that's my new ride or die. Now, for all my ride or dies, don't get shady, don't get salty. There's always plenty of space in this galaxy of life. People come into your lives when you need the most. And people come into your lives when you need to see the real about other people most. I'm going to give you an example of something. Sometimes when we're looking at, let's say, social media, you're driving through a town, maybe you're looking at homes. You see, wow, it's a beautiful home. Maybe you go to the beach. You're like, wow, this beach is nice. Look how clean the water is. You go to the park. Wow, they have 3 swings. We have 2. You see someone's car. Wow, look at that car. You drove wherever they are with your own car, but you're looking at their car. This is the funniest thing. I find this to be the funniest thing. I'm not like that. I've never, ever been like that. I've never been like, oh, what you got, I want too. No, I'm not. I think when I was young, my mom could not get me certain things. So I had to think, well, what I have is just as good. Let's take that back a step. When I go on social media and you're happy, I'm happy. All right. When I go to the beach, well, that water is wet and that sand is sandy. But at the beach I go to, the water is wet and the sand is sandy. Where's the beach? When I go to the park, oh, they got 3 swings. I got 2, but I can still swing on the swing that's at my park, and it's plenty available for everyone. Yeah, so it's still a swing in a park. When I'm driving through a neighborhood, I'm like, wow, look, they have nice houses. But dang it, I have a nice house too, my dude. And then I drove to see your car, but guess what? When I put the gas in my car that morning, it drove me to see. So I'm good, right? If we would just take a break and check ourselves that you good. You are good. You are good right now. Right now, you're amazing. Let me tell you. When I go to the pool, I might be in a 2-piece. I might be in a tankini. I might be in a 1-piece. I might be in a monokini. You might see my stomach. You might see my thighs. But guess what? We all have eyes. So I see you too. And I don't care. I feel like I want to swim. I want to have a good time. I want to be fashion even in the pool. I'm going to have a good time. In your life, you need to stop about everything. Stop. Press pause. And just say to yourself, you're amazing. Now, at first, you're going to be like, hi, reflection. You're amazing, right? Next time, hey, oh, there you are. Pretty still amazing. Let me tell you, the next time you sashay into that bathroom, work it. Boom, boom, boom. Dang, girl. Hey. Well, look at you being all amazing. Ow. You do it. However it is that you express yourself. You got to love yourself. You have to take a break from self-hatred. Is basically the point. Your full circle today on take a break is A, when you're working, take a break. B, when you're studying, take a break. C, when you're trolling, take a break. D, when you're loathing, take a break. When you're taking a break, get the heck up and do something so lazy, Just kidding. The moral of the story is you always gotta love. And I'll tell you something, the last thing I'm gonna tell you. My little baby, I was talking to him. And I said, who do you love the most, baby? Who do you love the most? And I never ask. Because I don't want to know who you love most. Listen, there is no competition. So my baby's like, well, I love God. And then I love me. And then it doesn't matter what he said after that. Because that child knows to love himself first. I could love my husband. I could love my children. I could love my dogs. I could love my job. I could love my career. I could love my drive. I could love my school. I could love my parents. If I don't love me first, nobody will love me for real. If I don't love me first, no one can love me for real. You like that? Put a quote on it. Type Fanny Girl Over Chico MBA. Hello. She said it. Because you have to love yourself. Take a break from that and start. And I hope you like this journey today. I certainly did. I love all of you. Thank you for taking this journey on Fannytastic Life. Until next time. Bye now.